Commander Elena Vasquez sat in the command chair of the orbital observatory, staring at the stream of data on her holographic display. Stars, countless and endless, flickered across the screen, but it wasn't the usual celestial patterns that had caught her attention. A signal had arrived, a strange rhythmic pulse that cut through the noise of the galaxy like a single, desperate cry. Dr. Arjun Patel, the lead xenolinguist, leaned over her shoulder, eyes wide with excitement. "Commander, this isn't natural. I've never seen a signal like this before. The pattern, it's too organized, too intentional." Elena's fingers hovered over the controls. "Intentional, you mean it's a message?" "Yes," Arjun replied, voice trembling slightly. "A distress call. SOS in the origin, it's farther than any known human settlement. Whoever sent this, they need help. Urgently." The observatory was silent for a moment, save for the faint hum of the ship's systems. Elena's mind raced. She had seen distress signals before, ships lost in space, colonies under threat, but this one felt different. There was something in the rhythm, in the precision, that spoke of intelligence and fear at the same time. "Show me the coordinates," she said finally. Arjun tapped the display. A distant blue-green star system appeared. Orbiting it was a small rocky planet, partially shrouded in clouds. "Astra Prime," he said softly. "The SOS comes from here. Our initial scans suggest life, but it's not anything we've seen before. Intelligent, yes, but fragile. Their technology is advanced, but not enough to defend themselves from a serious threat." Elena frowned. "Fragile?" Arjun nodded. "Yes, and the signal is clear. They are asking for help, but there's something strange. The urgency, the desperation, it's almost pleading." Elena leaned back in her chair, closing her eyes. She had served humanity in the frontier fleets for years. She knew what fear looked like, and this was fear like she had never seen. But when she opened her eyes, the briefing room beyond the observatory was already filled with Earth's top military leaders, watching through the live feed. General Marcus Hale, a man known for his cold logic, spoke first. "Commander Vasquez, Dr. Patel, we have analyzed the signal. The Council has reviewed it, and we have a decision." His voice was calm, but there was an edge beneath it, a steel hidden in civility. Elena exchanged a glance with Arjun. "Yes, sir? We are not sending aid," Hale said plainly. "We are sending retribution." Elena blinked. "Retribution?" "Sir, they sent an SOS. They are asking for help." They are weak," Hale interrupted, "and weakness invites exploitation. This is not about aid, Commander. This is about demonstrating humanity's strength and protecting our future. If another species is vulnerable enough to broadcast a distress signal, it is humanity's right and duty to assert dominance. Strike first, strike hard, and leave no room for threats." Arjun paled. "Sir, you don't understand. These beings, they are not our concern," Hale said, his tone final. "What matters is the strategic opportunity. We strike, we dominate, we ensure Earth's safety. End of discussion." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. She had seen humanity at its worst, wars over resources, territorial disputes, survival, but this was something new. A deliberate choice to punish those who could not defend themselves. And yet there was a spark of curiosity, of pride too. Humans were not known for mercy when opportunity knocked. She turned to Arjun. "We follow orders, but we observe, we record. Whatever happens here, the story will be told. Humanity's story." The next days were a blur of preparation. Fleets were assembled, warships refitted, AI systems upgraded with the latest tactical software. Every ship in the squadron was equipped with adaptive weaponry, capable of recalibrating mid-battle, sensors that could detect life forms beneath planetary surfaces, and shields strong enough to survive direct plasma bombardment. Yet, despite the advanced technology, Elena could not shake a growing unease. On the holomap, Astra Prime appeared fragile and small, orbiting a distant star that was already showing signs of instability. The planet's surface was partially obscured by swirling clouds, but even through the haze, she could see hints of vast forests, towering mountains, and cities that glimmered faintly. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Arjun murmured as he studied the scans. "A sentient race reaching out for help, and yet so delicate, we could wipe them out before they even know we are here." Elena nodded, though her stomach tightened. "And that's exactly what Earth wants. But we are not here to help. We are here to judge. And perhaps, To test ourselves. As the fleet approached the outer edges of Astra Prime's system, the SOS signal grew stronger. The message, once faint and fractured, now pulsed clearly, repeating a single word over and over in its native language. Arjun worked furiously, trying to decode it in real time. "They call themselves the Thalari," he finally said. "And they are pleading for protection against an invading force. They are not the threat. The danger comes from elsewhere, beyond their system. They are alone, scared, and desperate." Elena studied the holographic image of the planet. From orbit it seemed vulnerable, even innocent. Yet she remembered General Hale's orders. Humanity did not act out of compassion. Humanity acted out of reason, opportunity, and survival. The fleet adjusted its course, moving into position above the Thalari homeworld. Even as the planet's cities sparkled beneath the clouds, and even as the SOS pulsed steadily into space, Elena felt the weight of what they were about to do. "Commander," Arjun said quietly, "I can't help but feel we are about to make history, but not the kind anyone imagined." Elena's fingers rested lightly on the command panel. "History is rarely what we expect, Doctor. And humans are capable of more than anyone believes. Fear, courage, mercy, and brutality all in one species. All at once. Today, the galaxy will see what humanity is willing to do when opportunity meets strength." The fleet crossed the final boundary of Astra Prime's system. The planet, beautiful and helpless, rotated slowly beneath them. The SOS signal continued to pulse, clear and urgent. But Earth's fleet did not respond with aid. They responded with strategy, with retribution. Elena tightened her grip on the controls, her mind racing with calculations, possibilities, and consequences. Somewhere below, the Thalari waited, unaware that their call for help had summoned not saviors but judges. And humanity, as always, would answer. The fleet moved silently through the outer reaches of Astra Prime's system. Stars streaked past like silver threads, and the blue-green planet grew larger in the viewport with every passing hour. Commander Elena Vasquez stood at the edge of the observation deck, her hands clasped behind her back. Below, the planet's surface swirled with clouds, mountains, and faint signs of life. Dr. Arjun Patel joined her, holding a data pad filled with scans. "Commander, the Thalari, they are more advanced than initial readings suggested. Their cities are not primitive, they are structured, intelligent, and remarkably efficient. But their defenses? Almost non-existent. They are defenseless against any serious attack." Elena frowned. "That makes our orders easier in a sense." Arjun shook his head. "Or harder. We were not sent to help, but to judge. To strike, and yet, I can't shake the thought that these beings, these Thalari, are innocent. They didn't attack anyone. They didn't provoke. They just asked for help." Elena didn't answer immediately. She remembered General Hale's words. "Strike first, strike hard, leave no room for threats." But looking at the planet beneath her, she could feel its fragility, its vulnerability. The Thalari had sent a signal that humans could detect, an act of trust, of desperation. And humans were about to respond with force, not mercy. The fleet dropped into a geostationary orbit above Astra Prime. The planet's cities glimmered faintly through the clouds. Towering spires, floating platforms, and delicate crystal structures reflected the pale light of the dying star they orbited. It was a world that seemed almost impossible to destroy, but they were prepared to try. "Commander," Arjun said, voice low, "they are responding. The Thalari, they are sending a live transmission now." Elena gestured to the screen. A holographic projection appeared, showing the Thalari Council. The beings were unlike anything humanity had encountered. Slender, with elongated limbs and luminous eyes, they radiated both intelligence and fear. Their language was complex, a mixture of rapid clicks and melodic tones, but the translation overlay revealed their words. "Help us, please. The invaders come. Protect our home." Elena watched silently. The message was simple, clear, and desperate. Arjun's eyes were fixed on her. "Commander, we could help them. We have the power. We could drive away the invaders. And yet we were sent to retaliate." Elena clenched her jaw. "Orders are orders. But we observe, Doctor. We will record everything, and we will be careful." The Thalari transmission ended abruptly as sensors detected movement in the outer system. A fleet of dark, jagged ships emerged from hyperspace, heading straight for Astra Prime. Their presence was immediately threatening. The invaders' ships were larger than anything the Thalari had. Weapons glimmered along their hulls and energy fields rippled like liquid metal around them. "They are coming," Arjun whispered. The Thalari did not lie. "The danger is real, and if we do nothing, this planet will be destroyed." Elena's mind raced. Humanity had been sent not to rescue, but to punish. Yet the situation had shifted. The Thalari were not the threat, the invaders were. And the fleet under her command had the power to change the outcome. She turned to the bridge. "All ships, combat readiness. Prepare to engage. Target the incoming invaders, not the planet. We protect Astra Prime, but only as part of strategy." The fleet moved into position, forming a protective barrier between the invaders and the planet. Human warships, sleek and modular, bristled with weapon systems. Plasma cannons, missile arrays, and adaptive shields lined every ship. Yet even with this arsenal, Elena knew that the coming battle would test every skill humanity had developed in its expansion across the stars. As the invaders closed in, the Thalari watched from below. Their cities glimmered faintly, and their people began to evacuate into underground shelters. Elena could see the fear in their eyes, the trust placed in humanity, though they did not yet know if that trust was deserved. The first shots fired were deliberate, precise. Human ships did not waste ammunition. Each strike targeted the invaders' engines, shields, and weapon arrays. The invaders responded, firing beams that split the space between ships like liquid fire. Arjun monitored the battle, awe in his voice. "Their technology. It is sophisticated, but humans adapt faster than anyone. Look at that maneuver." Elena's hand hovered over the tactical controls. "This is why humanity survives," she said softly. "We think differently. We improvise. We are unpredictable. And we fight not just with strength but with intelligence." As the battle unfolded, the Thalari began to notice patterns. The humans were not reckless. They did not attack the planet. Their strikes were measured, surgical, targeting only the invaders. Slowly, fear began to turn into cautious hope. "Commander," Arjun said, "the Thalari they are communicating. They want to know if we are allies or enemies." Elena nodded. "Keep the translation active. Respond minimally. Let them see our intent through action." The invader fleet was formidable, but humanity's strategy was superior. Ships moved in formations that maximized firepower while minimizing exposure. Missiles that adapted mid-flight evaded defensive shields. Energy weapons disrupted invader communications. Humanity's fleet fought with a combination of precision, speed, and creativity that the invaders could not anticipate. Hours passed, though it felt like days. Space around Astra Prime became a battlefield of flashing lights, smoke trails, and energy discharges. Despite the chaos, Elena noticed something remarkable. The Thalari survived. Not a single city had been destroyed. No infrastructure collapsed. Humanity's retribution had been redirected, recalibrated into protection. At one point, a massive invader cruiser broke formation and charged directly at Astra Prime. Elena's ship intercepted it, firing a sequence of calculated volleys that disabled its engines without detonating its core. The invader drifted helpless, a reminder that humans fought with both force and control. Arjun turned to Elena, voice filled with emotion. "Commander, they are watching us. The Thalari, they see what humanity can do. Not just destruction, but protection. Even though we were sent as a threat, we became their shield." Elena allowed herself a small nod. "Humans are complicated, Doctor. We can destroy, but we can also create. We can punish, but we can also protect. And when the galaxy sees us, it will remember both." As the final invader ships retreated, the fleet moved into a holding pattern above Astra Prime. Smoke trails and damaged hulls floated silently in orbit. The Thalari began emerging from their shelters, cautiously stepping into their cities, eyes wide with disbelief and awe. Elena activated the main communication channel. "This is Commander Elena Vasquez of the Earth Fleet. Astra Prime is secure. Your planet is safe. The invaders have been neutralized." The Thalari leader, a tall figure with luminous silver eyes, stepped forward. "Earth, you protected us. After we called for help, you..." His words stumbled over translation. Elena responded simply. "We protect only what must be preserved. You are alive. Your planet stands. Learn from this. Humanity's actions are neither mercy nor cruelty, they are strategy. And sometimes survival requires both." Arjun watched the interaction quietly, a sense of pride and wonder on his face. Commander, humanity just became legends for this species. They will never forget what we did here. Elena looked down at Astra Prime, its crystal forests and floating cities now unharmed. She knew the story would be more than just a legend, it would be a warning. The galaxy would remember humanity not just as a species capable of compassion, but as one capable of precise, unstoppable force when it mattered most. As the fleet prepared to depart, Elena allowed herself one final thought. The Thalari had asked for aid, expecting saviors. They received humans instead, a species that could protect, punish, and astonish in equal measure. And in that moment, above the fragile blue-green world, Elena understood the truth of humanity. Unpredictable, unstoppable, and unyielding. Humanity had arrived not to simply answer a call for help. Humanity had arrived to change the story itself. The aftermath of the first encounter hung over Astra Prime like a delicate, shimmering veil. The Thalari cities glowed softly under the dying light of their sun, and the humans maintained a vigilant orbit. Commander Elena Vasquez studied the holographic display in the command deck of the flagship Resolute, her eyes scanning the distant blips of invader remnants fleeing into the darkness of space. Dr. Arjun Patel hovered beside her, still shaken by the sight of the Thalari's relief. Commander, they are grateful, yes, but cautious. They don't fully trust us yet. Elena nodded. They shouldn't. Trust must be earned. And humans earn it through actions, not words. Arjun frowned. But Commander, their message, it was genuine. They were asking for help against the invaders, not against us. And yet, we acted decisively, Elena said, cutting him off. We didn't give them aid in the way they expected. We didn't just save them. We showed them what humanity is capable of, and that is far more important than simple rescue. The Thalari, still wary, began to communicate more openly now that the invaders were driven away. Through Arjun's careful translation, humans learned more about the threat Astra Prime faced. The invaders were a warlike species, known for consuming planets and enslaving intelligent beings. They had arrived in waves, attacking weaker systems without hesitation. Humanity had arrived just in time, but the Thalari's technology alone could never have survived the next assault. Elena's mind worked quickly, plotting strategy. We cannot leave Astra Prime alone. If the invaders regroup, they will return stronger. Humanity cannot allow that, not just for the Thalari, but for the message this sends across the stars. Earth does not ignore calls for help, and Earth does not tolerate threats near those it protects. Orders were issued. Humanity would launch a counter-offensive, but it would be precise. The Resolute and its fleet would strike the invaders before they could regroup, using intelligence, speed, and ingenuity rather than sheer numbers. The first engagement was brutal, yet controlled. The invaders had retreated to a nearby asteroid belt, using its jagged terrain for cover. But humans adapted quickly. Using drones that mimicked the natural shadows of asteroids, the fleet approached undetected. Guided missiles sliced through the void, disabling engines and weapons with surgical precision. Elena watched as the enemy fleet faltered. The invaders were strong, but they were not adaptable. Human ingenuity turned every weakness into opportunity. A massive cruiser attempted to break free, but a coordinated strike from 3 separate ships disabled its shield generators. Explosions flared across the surface, yet human control prevented the destruction of nearby asteroids that could have been collateral damage. Dr. Patel shook his head, awe in his voice. Commander, they never expected tactics like this. They thought the human fleet would attack recklessly. They underestimated our intelligence, our coordination. Elena's eyes narrowed on the tactical display. That is humanity's greatest advantage. We adapt, we think, we anticipate. Our enemies either evolve or they perish. And the Thalari, they are watching, learning what it means to be protected by humans. The battle stretched on for hours. The invaders tried to retreat again, but humanity's drones had mapped the asteroid field perfectly. The enemy fleet found itself trapped in a maze of plasma traps, electromagnetic nets, and sudden bursts of firepower from multiple angles. Every move the invaders made was anticipated, every escape route blocked. Finally, the remaining ships attempted a desperate hyperspace jump. Elena gave the order. Cut off their exit points. Fire the containment pulses. A wave of energy surged through the sector, disabling the invaders' engines temporarily. They screamed silently through space as human drones closed in, targeting only weapons and propulsion systems. None of the assaults touched the natural formations of the asteroid belt. Humanity's retribution was ruthless but precise. When the last invader ship was incapacitated, the fleet hovered silently. The battlefield was empty, save for drifting wreckage and faint smoke trails from destroyed vessels. Elena exhaled slowly. Humanity had won the encounter without destroying the asteroid field or endangering Astra Prime. Arjun turned to her, eyes wide. "Commander, the Thalari. They are approaching in small vessels. They want to thank us or understand what just happened." Elena nodded. "Let them come. Let them see what we are capable of. Not just in war, but in restraint. That is what humans do. Decide where destruction is necessary and where mercy is possible." The Thalari leader, luminous eyes reflecting the dying sun, stepped forward on the surface of a small floating observation platform. "Earth, you fought not to destroy but to protect, and to punish those who threatened us. We do not understand your ways, but we respect them. You are unlike any species we have known." Elena inclined her head. "We are complex. Humans fight, yes, but we also preserve. We retaliate, but we think. You asked for help and you received humans. That is what survival in the galaxy demands. Not blind aid, but careful, decisive action." Over the following days, the humans and Thalari began to coordinate. Arjun taught the Thalari how to communicate in multiple Earth languages, not for diplomacy alone, but for strategic planning. They shared knowledge of human tactics, technology adaptation, and survival strategies. The Thalari, who once feared the arrival of humans, began to view them as allies of a different kind, protectors who wielded incredible power wisely. Meanwhile, Elena's mind was never far from the remaining invaders. Intelligence reports suggested they were not finished, and a larger fleet was likely gathering strength in a nearby system. Humanity's goal was not revenge, it was prevention. Strike first, strike smart, and remove threats before they could reach others. In preparation, human engineers adapted Thalari technology. Shield matrices were enhanced, weapons integrated with Earth systems, and planetary defenses fortified using a mix of human and Thalari knowledge. Elena walked through the workshops watching human and Thalari engineers collaborate. For a moment, she allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had the ability to inspire, to teach, and to protect, even across the stars. Yet beneath the victories and cooperation, a hard truth remained. The invaders had underestimated humans. They had assumed that Earth would act as a savior, not a strategist. That miscalculation had cost them. Humanity's retribution was not chaos, it was controlled, intelligent, and overwhelming. And the galaxy would take notice. Elena spent long hours reviewing fleet movements and invader tactics. Every simulation revealed the same truth. Humans could fight like no other species. Not just with strength, but with cunning. Not just with firepower, but with imagination. The Thalari observed closely, learning from humans how to combine intellect with action, strategy with morality. As night fell across Astra Prime, Elena stood on the observation deck, watching the planet cities glow beneath the clouds. The Thalari were beginning to rebuild, not just from the threat, but from their fear of it. Humanity had arrived as a force of retribution, but they left as a symbol of controlled power. Dr. Patel joined her once more. "Commander, do you think we were merciful?" Elena shook her head slightly. "Mercy is not what we did. Precision is. Control is. Humanity's strength lies not in mercy alone, but in knowing when to wield force and when to withhold it. Today we fought, but we also protected. That is who we are." Arjun looked out at the city lights below. "They will tell stories about us, Commander. About humans. About what we can do." Elena nodded, eyes still on the planet. "Yes, they will. And not all stories will be kind. But they will be remembered. Humanity has arrived, not just to answer SOS signals, but to redefine them. When the galaxy sees us, it will know that weakness is not safe, and trust must be met with strength and wisdom. That is our message." Above Astra Prime, the human fleet held position. Distant stars twinkled in the void, and the remnants of the invader fleet drifted silently. A reminder of humanity's unmatched combination of intelligence, adaptability, and decisiveness. The Thalari had survived. The invaders had learned a lesson. And humanity had begun to show the galaxy what it truly meant to be Earth's children. The SOS signal that had once demanded aid had brought not saviors, but a force the galaxy would not forget. A force that could protect, punish, and astound all at once. And Commander Elena Vasquez knew deep in her heart that this was only the beginning. Humanity's retribution had begun. The human fleet had held Astra Prime for days, yet Commander Elena Vasquez knew this was only the calm before the storm. The invaders were not finished. Reports from scouts indicated that their main fleet was amassing in a nearby star system. Intelligence suggested a massive assault was imminent. Elena studied the tactical display on the Resolute. Each ship in her fleet gleamed under the light of distant suns. Humans had adapted to Thalari technology, integrating shields and weapons that amplified both speed and defense. The Thalari were still cautious, observing the humans with awe and hesitation. They had survived one attack, but the next one could be larger, deadlier, and relentless. "Commander," Dr. Arjun Patel said, voice tense, "the Thalari are anxious. They fear that the next fleet will destroy everything. They want us to act decisively, but they are nervous. They do not understand human methods fully." Elena nodded. "They will understand. We fight differently, not just with force but with precision, and we do not leave opportunities for our enemies to recover. Humanity doesn't wait. We act." The first engagement of the next battle began when the invader fleet emerged from hyperspace. Hundreds of ships, sleek and jagged, moved toward Astra Prime with a speed that suggested overconfidence. Humanity had already anticipated their trajectory. Every ship, missile, and fighter was in position before the invaders even realized they had been spotted. "Open fire," Elena commanded. The human fleet struck with a mix of brilliance and efficiency. Plasma cannons, electromagnetic nets, and adaptive missiles tore through the invader formations. Yet the humans did not act recklessly. Ships coordinated to avoid collateral damage to the planet. Drones scouted ahead, relaying enemy movements in real time. Every strike was deliberate, every maneuver calculated. The invaders reacted with surprise. Their superior numbers could not compensate for humanity's intelligence. Several cruisers were disabled without loss of life, their engines destroyed while their hulls remained intact. Humans fought to win, not merely to destroy. Elena watched the battle unfold on the holomap, thinking several moves ahead. She gave orders to divide forces into 3 groups: containment, suppression, and decoy. The decoy fleet drew part of the invaders away, while the containment group blocked their retreat. The suppression group hit with full force. Dr. Patel was amazed. They cannot keep up? Humans are unpredictable. They think in ways the invaders do not. Every move is new, every strategy unexpected. As the fight continued, the Thalari observed humanity's tactics closely. They began to adapt, learning how humans combine technology and creativity. For the first time, they saw what it meant to survive not by strength alone, but by intelligence, coordination, and adaptability. Yet even as the humans dominated, a new threat appeared. A massive invader ship much larger than any before entered the battlefield. Its surface shimmered with a strange energy, and it emitted a low hum that made even the human fleet's sensors strain. Intelligence reports suggested this ship carried a weapon capable of planetary destruction. Elena frowned. "That's no ordinary cruiser. It is a superweapon. If it reaches Astra Prime," Dr. Patel swallowed hard, "it could destroy the planet in minutes. The Thalari, everything we've protected could be gone." Elena's mind raced. Humanity had faced impossible odds before and survived. They would survive again, but it would take courage, creativity, and exact timing. She gave orders to target the superweapons support systems first, focusing on shields and propulsion rather than a direct attack. The fleet moved as one, each ship knowing its role. Missiles swerved around gravitational anomalies, energy beams synchronized to strike weak points simultaneously, and drones infiltrated the ship to disable internal systems. The humans fought with ingenuity, not just firepower. The Thalari watched in awe. They had expected humans to be strong, but not this precise. Not this adaptable. Not this relentless in their strategy. For the first time, they began to see humanity as more than a species. They were a force of nature. The superweapons ship struggled to activate its destructive capabilities. Energy pulses fizzled under human interference. One by one, critical systems were disabled. Finally, Elena gave the order for a focused strike, and the invader ship was incapacitated without detonating its core. Elena exhaled. Astra Prime is safe. For now, the Thalari approached cautiously. Their leader's voice, translated through Arjun's system, was filled with awe. Earth, you fought with intelligence and force. At the same time, we cannot fully comprehend it, but we respect it. You are more than a species of flesh and blood. You are a shield and a weapon. Elena allowed herself a small smile. We are humans. That is enough. In the following days, humans and Thalari collaborated closely. Human engineers shared knowledge of shields, adaptive weaponry, and strategic defense. Thalari technology was integrated into the fleet to increase efficiency. The Thalari learned not only how to survive, but how to think like humans in warfare, strategically, decisively, and without hesitation. Elena watched the collaboration, feeling pride. Humanity had arrived as a force of retribution, but it was now also a teacher. They could protect, punish, and inspire all at once. Astra Prime, once fragile and vulnerable, was becoming a fortress. Yet Elena knew the war was far from over. Intelligence indicated that the remaining invader forces were regrouping and planning another strike. But humanity had shown its strength, its intelligence, and its resolve. The galaxy had begun to see what humans were capable of. Above Astra Prime, the fleet held position. The Thalari were no longer just survivors. They were students of humanity's methods. And as Elena looked toward the stars, she knew that the retribution they had unleashed was only the beginning. Humanity was not just a species that answered SOS signals. Humanity was a force that would shape the fate of worlds. The battle for Astra Prime had ended, but the echoes of humanity's actions reverberated across the galaxy. The invader fleet had been broken, their superweapon disabled, and their leaders scattered. Yet for Commander Elena Vasquez and her fleet, there was no time to celebrate. The galaxy was vast, threats were everywhere, and humanity's message had only just begun. Elena stood on the observation deck of the Resolute, watching Astra Prime cities glow peacefully under the fading light of their sun. For the first time since arrival, the planet seemed calm. The Thalari moved freely again, rebuilding what had been damaged by fear and conflict. Dr. Arjun Patel joined her, a data pad in hand. Commander, the Thalari have officially requested a formal alliance. They want to integrate with humanity, share knowledge, and learn from our strategy. They see Earth as more than a distant world. They see humans as leaders, Elena nodded. They do not yet fully understand us. But they will. Humanity is complicated, yes, but our strength lies in that complexity. We fight with brains, with courage, and with willpower. That combination is unmatched. The Thalari fleet approached cautiously, a gesture of respect and trust. Elena gave orders for joint exercises, combining Thalari ships with human tactics. For the first time, the Thalari began to see the true potential of partnership with humans. Meanwhile, intelligence reports indicated scattered pockets of the invaders were still in the galaxy, but their strength had been diminished significantly. Humanity had shown not only force but strategy. Any other species contemplating conquest would now think twice before challenging Earth. Elena walked the corridors of the Resolute, observing her crew. Each human moved with purpose, calm under pressure, and coordinated with a level of skill that was instinctive. These were the traits that had made humanity dominant across the stars: adaptability, intelligence, and the courage to act decisively when opportunity demanded. The Thalari leaders approached the Resolute to formally meet with Elena. Their luminous eyes reflected both gratitude and curiosity. You saved us, their leader said, voice slow and measured. But more than that, you taught us. We did not understand what humans are capable of. We see now that your power is not only in your weapons but in your minds. In your decisions, Elena smiled faintly. Humans survive by thinking ahead, by combining intellect with action, by knowing when to fight, when to protect, and when to strike. Today we fought not to destroy, but to ensure life. That is who we are, Arjun added softly, and the galaxy will remember it. Not just the Thalari, but every species that witnesses humanity's presence will understand one thing: humans are not to be underestimated. Days turned into weeks. Humanity helped the Thalari rebuild, sharing technology and strategic knowledge. They established orbital defenses, trained Thalari forces in human tactics, and ensured Astra Prime could survive any future attacks. Yet Elena knew that survival was only part of the story. Humanity had proven something greater, that intelligence combined with courage was a force no species could ignore. The Thalari, once fearful and desperate, had come to respect humans not only as protectors but as leaders in strategy, adaptability, and moral choice. In a quiet moment, Elena stood once more on the observation deck, watching Astra Prime glow beneath the stars. The SOS signal that had first reached Earth had not demanded retribution. It had asked for aid, yet humanity's answer had been more than aid. It had been a lesson in power, precision, and survival. Dr. Patel joined her, placing a hand lightly on her shoulder. "Commander, what now? Humanity has shown its strength, but the galaxy, it is vast." Elena looked out at the endless stars, eyes steady and determined. "Now we continue. We continue to explore, to protect, and to show what humans are capable of. The galaxy will remember Astra Prime, and it will remember humanity. We are not just survivors. We are thinkers, warriors, and guardians. And wherever the call for help or the threat of danger appears, humans will answer. On our terms." The fleet lifted off, leaving Astra Prime safe and stronger than before. The Thalari watched in awe as humans departed, knowing they had witnessed something extraordinary. Humanity had not only survived, they had shaped destiny itself. In the depths of space, Commander Elena Vasquez allowed herself a moment of pride. The SOS signal that had reached Earth had begun a chain of events that would echo across the stars. Humanity had arrived not just to help, but to redefine what it meant to be a force in the galaxy. The message was clear. Humanity protects, humanity punishes, and humanity endures. And the universe would never forget it.